integration of many countries, like 27 countries at the present time, or is it a charity that tries to help every single country inside Europe, inside the continent of Europe, without considering its capability of economic strength and political level or political differences between these countries? This is what is very important in terms of integration, because without these considerations, the differences can contribute to the conflict happening in that region. For example, if the region has too many differences, like the non-consideration of human rights or the groups of minorities, then therefore the integration of new countries into the European Union can definitely cause conflict to arise within the region. And when this kind of conflict arises, economic integration and of course international relations cannot be constructed to a level of sustainability in the long run. This is what we would like to point out, and it is a very important, the very point of why we have to consider social and economic conditions before new countries can join the European Union, and therefore integrate in terms of economy, in terms of political, and in terms of society. Before I move on to my arguments, I would like to rebut on terms of creating more market inside the European Union, because today we still have a lot of unemployment rate in the European Union itself. So without bringing new countries in, respectively bringing in new unskilled laborers into the European Union, we still have many people living today that do not have work to do, and when they still bring new people in, they are trying to steal the work from the present people living in the European Union. But more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, we feel that the people who come from this unauthorized social and economic condition have different things, different thoughts from people living inside the European Union. So that could cause problem when they find a job or when they try to do something inside the economic or market level of European Union. No, thank you. And the second thing, when they talk about increasing the trade routes between Europe and Asia, we feel that today we no longer rely that much on road transit or something like that. We rely on airports and ships and boats and the ocean. So in the case of Turkey, we do not see any mutual exclusivity of benefits from joining the European Union, ladies and gentlemen. My first argument, I will talk about the rights of the European Union to select its membership country, of why we are allowed to impose social and economic conditions before new countries are allowed to join the Union. The second, I'd like to talk about how new countries could badly affect the European Union as a whole, as a majority. And thirdly, I talk about why do we need socio-economic conditions and not other conditions. If I move on, yes?
But European Union need workforce to run the economy.
Yes, we need workforce, but today there are still a lot of unemployment rate. For example, in Germany we usually have 20% of unemployment rate. Even today, we have about 7% of unemployment rate, and that is quite the highest in Europe. With bringing new countries, for example, Turkey with 90 million people, 90 million workforces, we mean that there will be a lot higher unemployment rate, and that is definitely not good for the economy, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so why do we believe that the European Union members has the right to select its member by imposing social and economic conditions before new countries can join? Firstly, suppose we are in Thailand, and Thailand wants to deal with some countries outside Thailand, for example, Myanmar. Thailand can select if it would like to integrate with this country or other country by imposing the conditions before other countries can join with us. Same as European Union, because there are 27 countries inside the Union. So all 27 countries have to come to a consensus that they would like to integrate with this country so that the people and the economy can go together alongside, and thus create non-conflict and sustainable development. No, thank you. On the second level, we believe that if the countries have different economies and society status, it will affect the integration of the countries. For example, if the countries do not respect the human rights, let's say, this particular country, country A, would like to join EU, and it has all the rights because it is a European country, but it doesn't uphold the level of human rights European Union is upholding. The country comes to the European Union, and then there is a minority going to trade with it and trying to decrease the trade barrier. This country do not uphold the human rights and the respect for minority, then therefore this country cannot look over this kind of minority, and therefore integration can occur. Yes?
What are the countries that are not respected like Europe?
Let's say, for example, Muslim Christianity. Muslim in Turkey is very Muslim as a nation of Muslims is that they do not accept other religions so easily, and even if they do accept other citizens, but the regime in Turkey is quite oppressive or not as democratic as other countries. And for example, today, the reason that we have debate today is because the Turkey tries to integrate with the European Union, but the European Union does not accept Turkey because Turkey doesn't recognize Cyprus people and Cyprians as constituting the same human rights, and therefore that is why we are talking about social integration and increasing the trade and reducing the trade barriers between countries with differences in political levels and society levels. The second argument of mine, I will talk about how new countries could affect EU badly. The first is about population balance. Because, for example, Turkey, which has 90 million people, and Germany with the highest number of population, which is 120 million people, this means that Turkey, who are Muslims, who are newly integrated, and we do not check for that social and economic status that they will accept the entire European Union majority, we will see that a lot of population, the second highest population in Europe, will affect the value and the majority of the European Union. And that is even further important because when we talk about MEP or members of European Parliament, which is population-based, it means that a lot of MEPs, new MEPs with different values than current MEPs will come into the Parliament and therefore can change the direction of European Union itself. The second thing is we see that if the economy of that country is not in the same level as other countries in Europe, then it will help the development of that particular country and also the European Union as well. Why? Because when the new country comes into European Union, we would like to make sure that the GDP level, inflation rate, is quite to the same level. And that can only be done by inputting investment in a particular country. And when we have the tax from all the 27 countries concentrated to one country, then how are people going to feel? Because EU is not a charity. The people that you see real and concrete development inside the countries when they pay the tax to join for the EU. But then when this country has all the concentrated tax, it means that all other countries may cause resentment, and that is not good for integration, ladies and gentlemen. I will put socio-economic condition to my DRO as I've run out of time. But for now, as I've said earlier, we believe that the rights of EU is there to select its member country, whether it's the social or economic conditions. And we believe that new countries could badly affect EU, and EU is not a charity integration, rather it's a political and economic condition. Therefore, we have the rights to oppose. Thank you.